everyone, my name is Kira, I'm an English teacher, and in this video we're going to be looking at a sample answer from the single text, which is the first section of paper 2 and based on King Lear, and this one is from 2010. So you've got the sample answer here on the left. Once again, we're going to be looking at the question, breaking it down, looking at which parts are going to be important, what we really need to focus on. We'll have a quick look at the marking scheme. Then we'll go paragraph by paragraph, looking at the main body and looking at each of the different character analysis. And then finally the conclusion. So let's go straight into the question. You'll see from the sample answer the question is worded slightly differently. The student has just simplified the wording ever so slightly, but it is still the same question. So this is the question that's from the actual exam paper from 2010, and it is in King Lear, the villainous characters hold more fascination for the audience than the virtuous ones. Discuss this statement with reference to the text. Now, it's a nice question in the sense that everybody wants to talk all about the villainous characters, and they usually want to talk less about the virtuous ones because they're less interesting in King Lear for the most part. So the first part there that's highlighted is the villainous characters, and anyone who's villainous just means they're evil. So really the baddies. So really all the evil characters, like in this instance, this student has decided to look at Lear, Goneril, and Edmund. But you know, there's obviously a couple more that you could throw in there as well, but they're the three main ones. The next part of the question is really important. So these villainous characters, the statement is that these characters hold more fascination. So they're more interesting for the audience, or the audience finds them more fascinating. So there's more personal engagement and people generally kind of find them more interesting than the good characters or the virtuous characters. So again, it becomes a bit of a comparison. You're looking at an analysis of the evil characters, and then you're looking at an analysis of the good characters, and then you're saying all along which of these holds higher fascination. So which of them are more interesting, and you are the audience. So there is a personal engagement there that's needed. So how you found or what your opinion is of these characters is really important as well. So having that in mind, how are we going to start this? Well, we need the evil characters and then the good characters, and we need to look at the marks, and we're going to look at how we're going to divide that up and make sure that we're really focusing on the right areas. So the coding in this case, just to keep it simple, the F is for the fascination, and the FE is for the evil, and the FG is for the good. So the villainous characters and the virtuous characters. So we've just changed that to evil and good. Okay, so what the examiner is looking for is a discussion of both types of characters and how fascinating you find them. You cannot forget that part. That is the thing that most students tend to fall down on. They put a lovely paragraph about Lear, a lovely paragraph about Edmund, and then maybe a nice paragraph about Kent or Cordelia or some of the good characters. They talk about how good they are or evil they are, and that's it. Remember that the big chunk of that question there is the fascination for the audience. So it's the discussion of the character type and then how fascinating you find them. That needs to stay at the forefront of your mind throughout the whole question. So into the introduction then, and again, this is where we'll really kind of plan out where we're going and making sure that, you know, we know exactly which characters we're looking at for the evil ones, which characters we're looking at for the good ones, and then making sure that we address this whole fascination for the audience part as well. So firstly here we have the discussion of the characters. Okay, the honourable and wicked characters, they're an intriguing mix of characters. We've malicious and good characters, there's evil characters and good characters. So we're saying that throughout this essay we're going to be talking about a mix of them. We're going to have 3 evil ones and 2 good ones. So we are going to try to keep it fairly balanced. But also the important part is that we're going to address the question and talk about the fascination. So I, however, disagree that the evil characters are more engaging than the merciful. I cannot necessarily confirm that one triumphs over the other. So this student is really engaging with this comparison and saying, I feel that this is not the case, that I actually don't think that one is more interesting than the other, and they're going to prove that in this essay. So you can choose to take either. You can agree and say that you do find them more fascinating, or you can say, no, I actually don't. I find the virtuous ones more fascinating, or you can say that they're equal, but you must talk about the level of engagement of the audience and the level of fascination. So the main body of the essay then is where we're going to break down all of these characters, and our first 3 paragraphs are the 3 evil or villainous characters, probably the ones people really like talking about, and the final 2 are the good characters, Cordelia and Kent. Now, in every paragraph, it should contain a detailed analysis of that character. So make sure that if we're on the paragraph about Lear, there's lots of analysis about the kind of character that he is. If we're saying he's one of the villainous ones, we need to say he's villainous, and then we need to make sure we provide evidence and quotation. It is the single text. You need lots of quotes. So that's why it makes it harder really as well, but it's really, really important to have lots of evidence. And the second thing is the engagement with this kind of fascination side of the question. So really, how interesting is this character? How intriguing, how fascinating? Generally, as an audience member, how engaged are you with this particular character? Okay, so Lear first off, nice one to start with. He's our star. Straight away you can see lots of quotation there, lots of evidence, and quite a few comments about his character, the evil nature, cruel, malicious, rashness, unpredictable. All of these things we would definitely characterize Lear, and with lots of words to describe him. And then the fascination for the audience then it's dotted throughout the paragraph as well. So it grabs the audience attention, that we're intrigued. Our suspicions of him being harsh and rash are confirmed. He's somewhat interesting. We are shocked at his rashness. So again, it's not just saying that he is rash, but we're then saying that we as an audience are shocked by this. And that brings in that level of audience participation as well, and audience kind of engagement. Second character then, Edmund, the true baddie of the piece. Everybody loves Edmund. And we've got the fascination side. So how is he compelling and intriguing? Well, he's Machiavellian and cunning, and this is kind of part of his intrigue. We're enticed by this. We're compelled. We just generally find it interesting. And there's quite a few uses of words like intriguing, compelling, interesting, enticed. Okay, really nice variety there as well. And then his character analysis. Well, what about him? Well, he's malicious. He's wicked. He's ambition. His ambitions are to achieve power. He's unpredictable. He's deplorable and pure evil. So it's not just saying he's evil, he's evil, he's evil, or he's good, he's good, he's good. It's not the same repetition of the same word. So really nice variety of vocabulary here. Third character then, Goneril. And again, mostly is one of our villainous characters. So we mentioned that she's cruel, powerful, and clever. And there's a lack of compassion. She's heartless. Her wickedness comes through, that she's vicious. She's an exciting yet terrifying character. So a huge variety of adjectives being used here to describe Goneril really, really effectively. And it's really nicely used. And then again, throughout, we haven't forgotten the fascination. Well, it's dramatic, it's startling and shocking. We wait with bated breath. It's a nice way of saying that the audience are really interested to know, like, what is Goneril going to do next. So again, lots of quotation, lots of evidence, and direct quotes about Goneril. But most importantly, we've discussed her character, and then we've talked about the fascination for the audience. Now we move to our virtuous characters, who are Cordelia and Kent. So Cordelia, again, lots of quotation and lots of description of her characteristics. She's pure, honest, brave, decent, admirable, moral, loyal, heroic. Okay, so lots of variety there as well, but all very positive. She's certainly one of the virtuous characters. And then coming back to the question, does that make her more or less interesting? So is the fascination there for the audience? Well, this student has decided that she's exciting, memorable, unexpected, that she is compelling, that this, just because she's a good character, this doesn't make her any less exciting. In fact, later she mentions that the storyline adds to the excitement, that she's a memorable character. These are all things that helps to suggest that she is a fascinating character. And then finally, we have Kent, our final virtuous character, our other goodie. His characteristics are loyal, courageous, selfless, and likable. So there's a lot of respect. The audience seems to have a lot of respect for him, that he's courageous, he's appealing and likable. He has a good nature, genuine, selfless. All, again, lovely words used. Really nice range of vocabulary to describe Kent. And then how does this make him interesting? Well, some people might say, no, that's actually what makes him boring, or he's less fascinating. But this student has said from the get-go that she doesn't agree that the villainous are more fascinating than the virtuous. So she's showing that actually the virtuous are just as fascinating, that they develop a respect for him, that he intrigues us, it makes him stand out, that he captures our attention, and he's a captivating character. So in all cases, this student has really proved that all of these characters, regardless of whether they're villainous or they're virtuous, they all carry a level of fascination for the audience, certainly in this student's opinion. The conclusion then, we must try to like round all this up and come back to our main kind of talking points, really just hammer home those areas that we mentioned. So that's our character analysis and the fascination for the audience. So again, we've got the mix of characters. Well, we have the Machiavellian and the virtuous ones. We have characters with darker natures, and we have also the good characters and the brighter, hopeful characters as well. So a real mix of characters. We've discussed that. We've given evidence. There's 5 that are mentioned in this essay. And then how is that fascinating for the audience? Well, these characters are in fact equal in terms of interest and entertainment that they offer the audience. We find them captivating, that it only adds to the enjoyment of the play, that it's wholly entertaining and fascinating. So again, this student is just really just wrapping up everything to say that this fascination has been mentioned throughout every point in every paragraph. And now it's just a way of sort of summarizing that last final comment, the last point about fascination. Nothing new here, no new addition in the conclusion. You don't want to add any new points. It's just about summarizing what you've already said and just trying to link back with your introduction as best as possible. So that brings us to the end. For the full essay sample and for a annotated version, you can go to studyclix.ie.